Hello and welcome. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran and you're watching a special broadcast here on DD India. And with me is a very special guest, Dr. Samir V. Kamat. Now my guest needs no introduction, but just for the benefit of viewers joining us from around the world, Dr. Kamat is the Secretary of the Department of Defence R&D and the Chairperson of Defence Research and Development Organization. The DRDO is the R&D wing of the Ministry of Defence. It deals with cutting-edge technologies. It aims to achieve self-reliance in critical defence technologies and systems. It equips India's armed forces with the state-of-the-art weapon systems and equipment. And you've seen the DRDO in action during Operation Sindoor, India's retaliation to Pakistan for the terror attack in Pahalgam. Dr. Kamat, welcome to DD India. Tell us more about the various DRDO systems that were in operation during the Sindoor.
So several of our systems were used during Operation Sindoor. Just to name a few of them, the Akash surface-to-air missile system, the MR-SAM system, which is jointly developed by DRDO and IAI Israel, and our D4 system, which is an anti-drone system, was used extensively. And of course, our BrahMos system that we have done jointly with Russia, that was used extensively. All these systems have performed reasonably well and done the role that was expected of them.
Right. Talk to us a bit, if you will, about indigenization and self-reliance as well, Dr. Kamat. Now, these are important for a rising power such as India, and more so because they have acquired a salience of their own given the geopolitical flux that we see around us.
A very good question, because if a country needs strategic autonomy, especially in this world which is undergoing a geopolitical flux, as you said, you need capabilities not only for doing R&D on your own, but also the ability to produce those systems within the country. So the present government, when it came in 2014, has really given a thrust for this Atmanirbhar Bharat Make in India schemes. And this has helped the entire ecosystem grow in this country for doing not only defense R&D, but also defense production.
And how would you respond to the issue of the challenges you might face in doing defense R&D?
So defense R&D has several challenges. One thing is countries don't share what they have done. There is no open literature available. So a lot of things you have to do it yourself. Unlike in commercial civilian R&D, where a lot of information is available in literature. In defense R&D, you have to develop things from scratch. There is also a challenge that till recently, it was restricted to a very few entities. For example, DRDO has been doing defense R&D since 1958 when we were established. But there was no ecosystem in the country. Academia rarely showed interest because their students didn't get any jobs if they did defense R&D. But that has changed since 2014. So the challenges are becoming easier now because we have created this ecosystem. One other thing which we need to address is we have to increase defense R&D spending. And I'm very glad to inform you that our Honorable Raksha Mantri has told us that in the next 5 years, he will increase defense R&D budget from 5% of the defense budget to about 10% of the defense budget. This will really give a fillip to defense R&D within the country.
Dr. Kamat, how does the success of the indigenous systems augur for a self-reliant India campaign in defense sector, especially the role of the private sector?
So this success has given us all confidence that whatever we develop are state-of-the-art systems and effective. Now they are battle-tested. This has resulted in a lot of private sector, including startups, showing interest in getting into the defense R&D as well as defense production. So I'm sure this will have an exponential effect on the type of systems that we develop in the future.
And how does it augur for the exports of made in India products, defense systems and technologies? Are more countries now showing interest in Indian weapons and technologies?
Yes. We have already been exporting to about 100 countries. Last year we exported about 25,000 crores worth of defense systems. Honorable Raksha Mantri has set us a target to reach a goal of 50,000 crores by 2028. And with the kind of interest that has been generated because of the success of the indigenous systems globally, I'm sure this export number will be easily achieved.
Dr. Kamat, the armed forces in general and the Air Force in particular has flagged some complaints about delays. What is your department doing to address some of those concerns?
See, R&D is always a risky business. You don't know everything from the start. A lot of technical challenges emerge during the R&D process, which then results in delays. Delays have been seen internationally also in R&D programs, but we understand the concerns of the Air Force. We have tried to introduce risk mitigation features in all our projects now. We are also doing a more realistic assessment of the time frames, considering the risks, which we were not doing earlier. So I'm sure going ahead, the concerns of the Air Force will be addressed.
Indeed. How does the DRDO, for instance, intend to make itself and by extension the armed forces future ready?
As you have seen in the present war and the wars going on between Russia, Ukraine, and Israel, Hamas, the nature of warfare is changing. The role of technology is becoming increasingly important. So you have this network-centric warfare, you have unmanned systems, you have precision munitions, you have AI, quantum technologies coming in. So unless you're able to develop these systems on your own and introduce them in your defense systems, it will be very difficult for any country to fight future wars. So we are fully aware of this, and we are closely working with startups, academia, to make sure that our services remain future ready.
And looking ahead into the future, for instance, Dr. Kamat, what will be some of your priorities going forward?
So our priorities are very clear. We are looking at faster and faster missiles. So we are looking at hypersonic missiles. We are looking at longer ranges in our air-to-air missiles. We are also looking at longer ranges in our air-to-ground systems, as well as developing missiles against ships, anti-ship missiles. Then we are looking at space situational awareness, because future wars are going to be dependent on who dominates space. So you have to be aware of all the satellites which are in space and over your territory. So space situational awareness, underwater domain awareness, using directed energy weapons, and of course the missile technology which I mentioned. So these are some of our priority areas going ahead.
Right. Dr. Kamat, I'm approaching the end of my time, so a few quick questions, if you will, just so our viewers get to know you better, the man behind the persona, as it were. Materials engineering or civil engineering?
A very good question. I always wanted to avoid civil engineering because my father was a civil engineer. Materials engineering just happened by chance based on my JE rank. So, but I'm very glad that I did materials engineering.
So no regrets on
No regrets at all.
Great.
And working in DRDO was a real pleasure.
Sanjeevan Vidyalay, Panchgani or King George, Mumbai?
So I would say that at a young age, Sanjeevan Vidyalay, I was in a hostel. Whereas when I studied at King George, I stayed at home. So I would say King George.
Fair enough. IIT Kharagpur or the Ohio State University in the US?
Both were completely different experiences. When I went to IIT Kharagpur, I was a teenager, 17 years old. So it was a learning experience. I made friendships which have lasted now more than 40, 45 years. So that was a different phase. Ohio State was a more mature phase when I had gone at the age of 21. I had already finished my BTech degree. So it was quite a learning experience, working in a totally different environment, learning a new culture of the US. It taught me a lot of things which I could then use in my job in DRDO.
Dr. Kamat, you spoke about one of your dilemmas early on in your career. You said in one of your speeches, I quote you here, "As I was completing my PhD and contemplating on what I should do next, take up a faculty position in the US or India or work in a research laboratory." Now we know what you did, but what would you tell young Indian students today? Should they stay on in the US or return home to continue their academic or research careers?
I think the opportunities in India today are tremendous. I would advise any Indian student who is completing his studies in the US, this is the right time to come back to India and contribute to the growth of the country and make India a developed country by 2047, as our Honorable Prime Minister has given us all this target. So I will request every Indian student who is today studying anywhere in the world, this is the golden period for India. They should come back.
Indeed, and why not? Dr. Kamat, another related issue, by various accounts, China, we are told, enjoys a monopoly on rare earths. Now, rare earths are crucial to all and sundry sectors. I mean, electric vehicles, smartphones, wind turbines. We also keep hearing about rare earth permanent magnet technology. Could you demystify this highly technical language or...
So rare earths are a set of 17 elements in the periodic table. They are actually not rare. They are just difficult to extract because of their chemical reactivity. It is very difficult to extract them, and hence the extraction technology causes a lot of pollution. So a lot of countries didn't extract rare earths, though they had resources. Eventually, China has gained such a dominance in this rare earth extraction that they control 90% of the world production of rare earths. And in some heavy rare earths, they control up to 99% of the rare earths. India has surprisingly significant reserves of rare earths. More than 3% of the global reserves are in India. We are now looking at how we can exploit our reserves to produce these rare earths within the country. We have the technology, but somebody has to now set up production at a scale at which it is required. Today we are producing enough rare earths for our strategic sector needs. But if we have to meet our civilian demand, then we have to set up rare earth extraction as well as converting the rare earths to rare earth permanent magnets. The technology currently exists in the country. We are producing it for our strategic needs. But if we have to use these rare earth metals and permanent magnets in our civilian domain, we need to scale up capacity. And NITI Aayog has already taken up this challenge, and they have been working to see how this full ecosystem can be established in the country.
If I may quickly go back to Operation Sindhu, Dr. Kamat, it was a technology demonstrator of sorts. We saw how the BrahMos missiles performed, the Akash, the defense system. So, having seen what the world has seen, are there more takers for such technologies? I mean,
yes.
Have we got any new buyers, as it were, in...
See, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Once a weapon system or sensor gets tested in the battlefield, there will definitely be an increase in interest. Right now, see, DRDO doesn't deal with the exports. It's our production partners which deal with the exports. But what I hear from them is the interest definitely has gone much higher than before. They are getting a lot more inquiries. But as you are aware, defense deals take time to, totally go through. So I'm sure in the next year or so, you will hear of a lot more exports from India.
Great. And finally, Dr. Kamat, do you have a wish list of sorts for yourself or for the organization? Something that you would like to see happen in the next few years down the road?
I think the Prime Minister has set all of us a target. I want to make sure that all technologies are developed indigenously and we become a technology leader, global technology leader. That's my wish and ambition.
The PM
for the
keeps saying made in India,
made for the world.
made for the world.
So that is what my ambition is, to make sure that that dream is realized.
All right, great. On that note, Dr. Kamat, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. It was indeed a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. And with that, it's a wrap on this special broadcast. But news continues here on DD India. You can catch all the latest updates on our social media, mobile and digital platforms. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.